All right, this is Dead by Daylight. We've got the newest killer here, Dracula, and this is one of my worst maps. I really can't stand this map. There are way too many windows. This guy has nothing to deal with them either. I don't have bamboozle or anything. And I'm not running the add-on that locks up windows when you're in bat form. I'm doing a purely endgame build. Seeing how that works on this killer. And for the most part, I will be playing him in wolf form. I played him as vampire form. I don't find him to be very impressive. The Hellfire is very hit or miss with this guy. It's basically like a worse version of Pyramid Head's Punishment of the Damned. So I have not been impressed by his anti-loop abilities in terms of the Hellfire. Like for instance, I wouldn't be able to use it because it can't go through those walls. So Pyramid Heads, I would have been able to get her much sooner. From what I've discovered of playing this guy, he's like worse versions of 3 different killers. He, as I said, his ability in vampire form, the Hellfire ability, is a worse version of Pyramid Head's ability. In wolf form, his pounce is a worse version of Wesker's dash because as soon as you launch a pounce, it automatically does another pounce. You can't actually control it. You can control where it goes, but you can't like with Wesker do it where you do one dash and if you want you don't do the other, or you can try to aim it. The pounce ability, it does the second pounce almost immediately after the first. It's not good design. I don't know why they wouldn't let the player have control over whether you want to do the second pounce or not. And the bat form is basically just a worse version of Spirit and Dredge, where you go faster. I think it might be the same movement speed as Wraith when he's cloaked. I'm not sure. And the teleport is just like Dredge's teleport, except it's to windows instead of lockers, and it's very slow. It's not very fast at all. So I will be playing mostly in wolf form. His other 2 abilities really don't seem worth it to me. And I would really love to get that Ada again. So yeah, the devs at BHVR came out with another lackluster killer. Very underwhelming. As I said, he's the worst version of 3 different killers. Any one of the killers I mentioned you could use and have a better time with him. A better time with the killer than you have with this guy. I mean, any of the killers I mentioned would give you more of a consistent win record. But that said, I'm not really playing I'm not playing as optimally as I could. I don't really care at this point. I do have an endgame build, so I'm not going to be able to stop these generators. Yeah, she extended that with Dead Hard, of course. Yeah, this was one of the first games I played with him against real people. I usually like to try out a new killer against bots. And I just noticed his powers are overall just very mediocre at best, as I predicted. Okay, well that will go a long way toward helping me in the end game. I've noticed with Wolf that you don't gain bloodlust, so she gave up for some reason. I don't have any gen defense and you're almost finished and you give up. Anyway, yeah, the wolf, you cannot gain bloodlust with the wolf, so the scent orbs are it for any kind of speed up, unless you bring a perk.
Can be quite fun at times.
I wish there was more incentive to actually play in the wolf form, because as it is, it's just even though it's base movement speed, he doesn't gain bloodlust. The scent orbs do very little to speed you up, so there's really not much incentive to play as the wolf. That being said, I will always play as the wolf because it's a dog and it's like the first animal killer that we've had in this game, and it's nice to be able to play as a non-human killer. But they need to make it so playing as the wolf is more rewarding. I would make the wolf's base movement speed 4.8 and make the scent orbs increase your speed to 5.0. I would make it so in wolf form you have a reduced terror radius automatically. You don't need to bring an add-on to reduce your terror radius. And I would make the pounce more like Wesker's, where you can control whether you want to go into a second pounce or not. Otherwise, it just feels very underwhelming. But his other two modes are very underwhelming as well. I've seen many people say he's a jack of all trades and master of none, and that's pretty much it. I mean, he can do a lot of different things, none of which are very effective. I mean, if you're using his power for... if you're using him in vampire mode mostly and using his hellfire power, you might as well just play Pyramid Head, who has a much better version of his hellfire. If you're using him mostly in wolf form, you might as well just play Wesker. This build might not even come into play I can't believe this. Yeah, they're not going to get that last gen done, so I'm... I was basically playing the whole match without a build. Okay, I might be able to mori her. Yeah. Yeah, I can mori her. It's going to be blocked. It really doesn't matter. It's not very impressive. Everything with this killer is very unimpressive. The only thing I am impressed by is the wolf. You can actually play as a quadruped instead of a bipedal humanoid. It's good to be able to play as an animal in this game. But other than that, it's just... This guy is mediocre at best.